What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this one, we have American in Poland, 8 biggest culture shocks. Before we dive in, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and let's do it.
Don't get me wrong, Poland is a beautiful country. I've really loved my time here and I can see myself spending a few years here actually. That being said, not everything is perfect and it took me a while to adjust to specific things here in this country. So I'm Chinese Filipino American with a Latin heart. So what does that mean? My family, we are full Chinese by blood, but a few generations ago, my family immigrated to the Philippines. My parents immigrated to the US where I was born, and I spent a very good time of my life in Colombia. So I have a mix of so many different cultures that I'm gonna pull from. Starting with number 1, the poor customer service. I think a lot of Americans feel this once you go out of the US. In the US, customer service is on a whole other level. It's very fake in a lot of ways. Employees are working for tips, and tipping culture is a very uniquely US thing that has kind of spread to other places in the world. But here in Poland, the customer service, I wouldn't say it's the worst that I've seen, but it's definitely not amazing. Sometimes I'll try to wave down a waiter because that's very common in the US. My Polish friends would yell at me because you don't really do that here in Europe. And on top of that, sometimes it can be seen as rude, kind of like we're calling them like a dog.
Right. Don't whistle.
So how do you get their attention?
Yeah, you look more like a dog than I do.
It's also kind of nice because when you go shopping, workers at the store will maybe greet you when you come in, but they're not going to be constantly harassing
I do enjoy
like
that.
when you're in the US and you're trying to buy something at the store. The employees every 5 seconds are like, "Hi, do you need anything? Can I help you with something? Hello?"
Yes.
Something I really actually like about this culture, because Chinese people are kind of the same way. Everybody just kind of minds their own business and people may come off cold in public. The plus side to that is that people are not really in your business. So that comes to number 2, the social culture.
I feel like I appreciate that. And I hate tipping culture. Tipping culture is dumb to me because I'm paying extra for what? The food is already expensive. Stuff is already expensive. Why am I tipping on top of that? Why is the responsibility put on the customer and not the company? Why are we not having a revolution against that? Why are we not standing up to that? It should be put on the company to pay the workers livable wages and not on the customers to pay extra. They're already coming to the restaurant. They're already buying the food that's more expensive. Why do we then also have to tip on top of that? Completely hate tipping culture. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Yes, but I will say customer service is good. So I will say that customer service is good. Sometimes can be over the top, like he said. It gets to a point where it's too much. But I'd rather it be too much than not enough, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I would like to go into like shopping malls and everything and not be asked like 3 or 4 times if I'm okay. If I need anything, like I'll let you know. Like if I need your help, I'll let you know. Other than that, I'm good. I'm just coming in here looking around. If I need you, I'll let you know. I do think like, so since you can't, I guess, call to the Polish waiter, like if you need them, what do you do if it's rude to call them over, but you need them? What do you just sit there and wait? Or y'all talk to me in the comment section on that one. That one, it's like I'm not calling you like a dog. I'm not meaning that, but it's like I need your help really quick. Like I need something. So what else do I do?
Here is very closed off. So there's a common stereotype out there that Polish people are rude and mean. I can see where people are coming from and I feel like it's half true and it's half not. I've gotten a lot of flack on my videos for saying this about Polish people, even though Polish people themselves will say that Polish people are exactly like this.
Well, people say that Polish people don't smile. That can be true, that a lot of people, they don't seem to be super happy.
There's a phrase called Polish smile.
Yes.
Do you know what that looks like?
Yes.
I've noticed a huge difference in the way that Polish people treat me when I first met them versus when they know me already. It's like a night and day difference. Like in the beginning, if they don't know who you are, they're extremely cold to you. They're not gonna say hi to you in the elevator or anything. But once you guys have had several interactions, Polish people are super welcoming and super nice to me all the time. But I can understand the rude argument because I've had many interactions with Polish workers who will say something so direct and so blunt, but in a way where it definitely comes off as rude. For example, like bus stations, or I remember I was in a train coming back from Ukraine and one of the Polish conductors just like yelled at us for being in the wrong cart or something. It was just unnecessarily rude. That stereotype has a little bit of merit, but I don't think that's a general representation of Polish people as a whole, because I would say that Polish people are actually awesome. But as an American,
Yeah.
it took me a while to get used to not doing the small talk thing. Even though with my Polish friends now, yes, I'll do small talk. Americans, we are very social and very open
Yeah.
people. This is something
Yeah.
that I appreciate about our culture a lot, and it's very hard for me to turn that off because that's how I was raised. If you're at the supermarket and it's very common for us to maybe compliment people out of nowhere. A lot of foreigners will say that it's like fake small talk and we have to put up a front, but I more see it as basic manners. It's just one of the
Yeah.
things that I've learned of being American that's very hard for me to get rid of. In America,
Yeah.
even though it's pretty difficult to make really deep connections, here's kind of the opposite, where when you're in public transportation or if you're out in public, people don't really socialize with strangers. People mainly just kind of stay within their own groups. But once you get to
feel
know
that.
a Polish person, the common saying is that you have a friend for life. Most Polish people
Yeah.
I know have been friends with people for years. And once you're in the circle, then you're in. It just definitely takes a while to get into the circle. Polish people in general.
So my
value-
question on that, and I hear that about different countries, and it's like Poland, Germany, the same. I've heard in different videos where they say it's like, yeah, like at first it just seems standoffish, but once you get to know them, like they're friend for life. Whereas in America, you may be very friendly in the beginning, but at the core of it, it's not like real type friendship. It's not. Where it's different. We're hard on the inside, soft on the outside. In Poland, Germany, hard on the outside, soft on the inside. But like, how do you like get to? Because when they describe Polish people as kind of being more standoffish and not wanting to socialize with you in the beginning, if they don't know you, my question is like, how do you get to know someone and get in that circle? Is it like through work, or is it because you don't do like the small talk or none of that? So is it like through work, through friends of a friend, through I guess joining a group, like I know like a Facebook group or something, maybe similar interests. Like how do you get inside of the circle if they're more standoffish in the beginning? How do you break that wall down? Y'all hit me in the comment section on that one.
Deeper connections, and that comes to friendships and relationships. Whereas in the US, I think it is fair to say that maybe you'll have a lot of acquaintances and you'll know a lot of people.
Agreed.
People are super friendly, but trying to find someone where you have a deep, intimate connection with
Very
is
small
quite
circle.
difficult. I also like
Very-
how Polish people are quite
Got a lot of acquaintances, but a very small circle, like true friends that like I really like. I got you no matter what. I got your back. Very small circle of true friends, but a lot of acquaintances.
direct. A good complaint about Americans is that we kind of beat around the bush, do all the
Yeah.
small talk before asking for the thing that we really
Facts.
want. Here, people are a lot
Facts.
more direct. If they need something from you, or let's say they're trying to fix something, they won't try to tell you nicely like, hey, can you maybe move? They'll just be like, no, get out of the way, let me do it. I personally like that because I have quite a direct style when it comes to especially like leadership and communication. And I like how they don't like to beat around the bush. When they want something, they'll tell you exactly what they want, and it just makes things a lot less complicated. Bro, you're making me mess up.
so it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Something that I like about Polish people, and this really relates to my
I feel
roots
like I am more of a beat around the bush type of person. Like I won't tell you directly. That's just not who I am. And I don't got a problem with direct people. Like I think that's awesome. I would love to be direct, but there's something about me that holds back because that's just not who I am. Like I'll tell you in a very nice way. Like if you're in the right, excuse me, can I please get around you? And not like, hey, get out the way, I'm coming. Like, can I please get around you? Or like when I was a basketball coach for a minute, I'll be like, "How you doing this really amazing, but if you just do it this way, like it'll be absolutely it'll be so much better." So instead of saying, "Hey, don't do that, do this," it's like, "Hey, that's good, but you do it this way, it'll be much better." So it's just, I'm just a different type of communicator.
as a Chinese person is that they are very frugal here versus people who are a little more decadent. For example, I think American culture really pushes the whole materialism and having the best car.
Yeah.
I will admit that
Yeah.
Chinese people are very materialistic. And I would even make the argument that this is quite common in Ukraine as well. Ukrainian people are a lot more materially driven, I think. I don't know if it's the culture or the music or because the income disparity is a lot wider, but it doesn't seem like Polish people care that much, especially the Polish girls.
Okay.
You don't need to take them out to the fanciest dinner or buy them the nicest clothes. They are perfectly happy with just enjoying your company and you having a good personality and treating them well.
rock
And this is
with
why I like Polish girls, maybe compared to the Ukrainian girls. Okay, I'll just say it. I've heard so many bad things about my friends who have had experiences with Ukrainian girls. The most common thing is that they are sneaky or that they are gold diggers. Obviously, that's not representative of all of them, right? I've heard mostly positive things about Polish people in general, just in relationships. But going back to the frugal thing, it's nice when I'm going out with the Polish girl I'm seeing now. She gets a little uncomfortable when I try to pay for the bill. When we go out, she'll often try to find the cheapest option. She doesn't really care about
Love
staying
that.
in like the nicest,
Love
most
that.
luxurious places. In
Come
fact, I would
on.
even say she feels a little guilty for that. And I love that. I think it's really cute, first of all. I like
Yeah.
how here they don't really care about the branding and everything. It's more like practical usage. And if it works, then they don't really care
I love
about
that.
something being super expensive. And I love that because I'm not really a materialistic person either. It seems that the people here are a lot more relationship oriented.
I feel like saying when it comes to being, I'm a very frugal person. I'm very looking for the cost and how can I get the cheapest deal and not wanting to spend the most. I think it's really awesome. Shout out to Poles for not being materialistic like a lot of other countries like the US of A, where it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm more, like, does it serve a purpose? What's the function of it? Not, hey, I need to have the flyest stuff. I need to have the coolest stuff. Would I like to be able to afford it? Yes. But if I could afford it, would I buy it? No. Because it's just not who I am. Like, I'm a frugal person. So I feel like I might have a little bit of pole in me.
Rather than
Here we
hookup oriented. It feels like in the US
that.
and the Scandinavian countries, hookup culture is a lot more
Yeah.
common and promoted, and the people in general are a lot more promiscuous. Now that's not
Yeah.
to say that sex is super hush-hush here. It's actually quite common, even though it's a Catholic country. People here are quite open about sex, but it's more about having sex in a committed relationship rather than
Love that.
just sleeping around with a bunch of people. I'm quite sick of hookup culture, and I think a lot of people can agree with me on this. It seems like in the US, sex is super easy to come by, but finding deep, intimate connection is very difficult. And it's also nice being in a culture that seems to be promoting and pushing the nuclear family. So apparently Poland has
I
one
feel
of
like
the...
I'm not mad at like hookup culture. For people who want to do that, like, that's cool. Like, I have no issue with people who want to do that. But I'm not mad at relationship oriented culture. Like, that's awesome as well. But like, yeah, for younger people, I think being relationship oriented, maybe it's just because I live here in America where it's not like that. I think it's just harder because you're younger. You don't necessarily know exactly what you want in life, so you don't know who you are. You don't know what you want. You can't possibly commit yourself, I feel like, for so long. And so I feel like it's better to be like open and not commit yourself to one person, and to where later, like now, like I love my wife to death that I couldn't imagine like going after anybody else. But at a younger age, you're still trying to figure things out, and I feel like you shouldn't. Me personally, you shouldn't tie yourself down to a person so young, but you should have different kinds of experiences and different. So that's just me. That's just me. But and maybe it's American type mindset. So yeah, y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comment section.
Lowest birth rates in Europe, which was very surprising to me, because if you go out on a Sunday, there are families everywhere. It seems like everybody has kids, because I even feel like talking to Polish people and just the general vibe. Yes, maybe now people are a little more career oriented, but I think the final goal for most people is still having a traditional nuclear family. I would like to hear some Polish people's takes on this. Maybe it's becoming a lot more Western. I don't know, coming from the US or a place like Latin America where single motherhood is so rampant, I still feel like the general structure of promoting family values here is very strong. I love
that.
and respect
Love
that a
that.
lot. Also, something that is surprising is that there seems to be an absence of the whole entire LGBT movement. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't exist. I've definitely seen more like lesbian couples than gay couples, actually.
Okay.
I've seen the pride flag here and there, but it still seems to be a minority, and I don't know if Polish people are against it, because I think Poland is still a generally more conservative society. I haven't been here long enough to know how tolerant Polish people are of it, but it's nice being in a culture where I'm not constantly having that shoved down my throat. I have a lot of bad experiences
understand
from that because I grew up in Los Angeles. It's like you can't criticize LGBT for anything. You have to be accepting of everything. Them coming into classrooms and dressing in drag and teaching kids about sex, all this behavior. Like, I don't have a problem with your sexual preference, but I just don't want it constantly shoved down my throat. And it feels like in the US with Netflix and media, everything is about LGBT. Quite refreshing that people just don't care about that much here. In all the places that I've been in the world, I think Southeast Asia does it the best because there's a lot of lady boys there and people accept that that's a part of the culture. Nobody really talks about it and tries to like force you to always be accepting.
I can understand that.
Just like, whatever, that's just how they like to do it, you know? There's a big difference in music.
I will say they do that a lot here in the U.S. It feels like it's kind of being shoved down your throat or shoved in your face. It doesn't bother me not one bit because, like you said, I don't care what your like sexual preference is. Like, are you a good person? Are you cool to be around? Like, do I vibe with you? That's all I truly like care about when like being friendly and everything. But yeah, it like the stuff. It really doesn't bother me, the stuff like being shown like on shows or anything that I'm just like, okay, that's like, as long as the show good, them putting the LGBTQ person in the show doesn't bother me. Like, is the show good? Does it have a good story? All right, keep watching.
Well, when you go to clubs here, it's mainly a lot of like techno, a lot of European kind of music. There are some clubs that I've been to where the DJ has been good and they played a lot of pop music. Coming from LA, my preference for going out to the club is like hip hop, R&B, black music in general, which really allows you to dance. And going out here sometimes seems like everybody's just kind of like bouncing around in the club. Surprisingly, there's a big Latin scene here. Polish people know how to dance, but they're quite hush-hush about it and they only do it at specific gatherings. Whereas you go to Latin America and you see people dancing all the street all the time, and at every party it seems like people are dancing. Polish music to me seems to be a lot more rock influenced, and there's definitely a lot of Polish rap as well. To me, I still think American music is still some of the best. Also, I didn't realize how drastic the weather changes here. I came here in the worst part of the year. It felt like Poland was just super miserable because the day would end at like 3:30 p.m. But now that it's summer, it's light out till like 9:30, almost 10 p.m. And you can feel a difference in the vibe. It's like Krakow is like two different cities in the winter versus how it is in the summer. And I actually think that affects the mood of the people as well. I've noticed that during the winter, Polish people are generally just not the nicest. They're frowning all the time, and I can get it. It's just like a general vibe in the air where we're all suffering through this together. But during the summer, Polish people are smiling, they're out playing sports, everybody's friendly, all the hot women come out because it seems like all the hot women go into hiding during the winter. But this is something that I've learned to appreciate coming from LA, where the weather is generally quite good year-round. This is the first time I really experienced seasonal depression. It has a bigger impact than you think it does. If you're gonna spend some time in Poland, try to come here during the summer because they are the best months. I would say starting from maybe March, April to around October. Smoking and alcohol.
Yeah, I would say the day ended at like 3:30 is definitely a no-go for me. But the day ending at 9:30, 10 being light out is absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I could see the seasonal depression he's talking about. That completely makes sense. And then the music scene, I haven't really heard too much Polish music. I absolutely loved the Polish national anthem, and I got to hear a little bit more music from Poland, like the top hits every year for a while, or top hits on YouTube every year. But like, yeah, I haven't heard enough, I guess, Polish music to come to a informed conclusion about it.
Seem to be very large social lubricants here. So yes, generally in all of Europe, drinking is a really big thing. Here in Poland, people love to smoke. You can say that for Polish and Ukrainians. I don't smoke cigarettes. I just kind of roll like CBD joints, and I've smoked a lot more being here. If you want to hang out and meet people, like being on the terrace or in front of my building, it's a very big social thing here. It's very crazy to watch too, because Polish people are like two completely different people. When they are sober, they are a lot more reserved. They are to themselves, but as soon as they get drunk, they become open and free, and it's like the side of them that they've been repressing all of a sudden comes out. This is something that's more personal to me, but the view of Asians just everywhere in the world is very different than it was in the US. The general sentiment is that overall, Asians are quite welcome here. Walking around here in Krakow, you see so many Asian-Polish relationships. Asian men are very desired here, which is very shocking to me because, you know, in America, we're kind of at the bottom of the totem pole, whereas in many places in the world, world, especially if there's not a lot of Asians, we are seen as exotic. It's funny because I'll have these conversations and some girls get really mad when they get fetishized, but as a man, I love it, right? Because any attention from women is great. We're not really used to it. Maybe there are a select group of people that are quite racist towards Asians, but I think for the most part, Asians are welcome here because we share a lot of culture, just because of the general positive reputation of being Asian in this part of the world. Pretty much anywhere in the world, honestly. I become a lot more proud to be Asian the older that I get. We have like all the positive benefits of our race just having a positive reputation in the world. It's interesting because I personally have not had an experience of racism yet, but when I've talked to Asian people here, they've had several specific incidences where people have said rude things to them.
There is racism. I just don't think like some of the jokes are like as harmful as like we take it. But a lot of my Asian guy friends say that it's very different. Yeah, in Krakow, they got like pepper sprayed, they got beat up. It was very
days.
It was like this year or last year.
And the last thing is that everything here is closed on Sundays. It was kind of the same thing in Colombia as well, but at least in Colombia, the malls were still open. Here, everything is closed on Sundays. The grocery stores, the malls, a lot of restaurants are still open, but Sunday is generally family day here. So that's why if you go out on a Sunday, you're gonna see a lot of people hanging out with their friends and family everywhere. Sometimes it can be a little annoying when you need to get something on a Sunday, but after a while, you'll adjust. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Did I miss anything in the video? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.
I think that's pretty dope. It sounds like Asian treatment is well there, except for her who like explains the message. Where he said it might be a small group of people who don't like Asians, and that must be what her friends ran into when they got pepper sprayed. That's absolutely wild. But the treatment overall, he said, is better than it was in the U.S. And then you see a lot of Asian-Polish relationships going on. So I feel like that's pretty cool. And so I see, to crack that hard shell, you just got to get some alcohol flowing. Yeah, gotta get them unsober, and then that shell's cracked. They become less reserved. They become more open, and that's when you start making some friendships. I got it. I got the game plan. Let me know what you guys thought about that. Do you guys think that's pretty accurate description of Poland? If you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the next one. I'll see you guys next time.